Piano.
Hi, welcome back to the Happy Place Diaries. On this episode, we are going to be talking about planning our trips and what we use. Please join us.
Right here.
Oh. Okay, so when we start planning our trips, which is usually me, first thing I use is Reserve America on my phone. I love it. I go there. I've got my favorites already in there. I can plug them in. You go there, you look, pick a state park or a park or whatever, and you can click on it. It'll show you the map. It'll give you all the details, all the sites. You can click on them, see how long they are, if they're full hookups, not full hookups. So once we've done that and we're on the road and we get to the park, we always grab a map to put in our binder. We just have a regular 3-ring binder with the page projectors. And so for every park that we've been to, we put the information that they give us, because some of the private ones don't have the brochures like every state park does. And, you know, they'll highlight where we parked. So we put those in there. Then we camp, have a wonderful time. Then we get our camping journal out, which this one is from Write It Down. Memories are all that's left. And in this book, we've started since day one. And it gives you the location that you're at, the date of the trip, the weather, campground information, if it's a private or a state park, who reserved it, what site we were in, any comments, the campground offered, and then you can explain what they offered, who you camped with, anybody that you met, places that we visited that time, what I enjoyed most memorable event, which usually we put on the back side of the page because there's not enough room. So we do that, and what we do is we number them up here in the corner so that we know which trip it was. So our first trip was to Columbia Riverfront. That's where it all got started. Now we are on number 44. We just celebrated our 3rd year having the trailer, and this is our 44th trip. So there's been lots of memorable events. Sorry, I'm looking at Jerry and not you. I apologize. I really like this because then we can go back. If something happened, we can see when it happened. When we bought something, we usually write that down. You know, we bought stabilizers for the trailer, or we bought a new screen door, or, you know, whatever you buy, you can just make a comment in here, and then you don't have to go look for receipts or anything. Jerry and I usually share responsibility in this. He's a better storyteller than I am, but sometimes I do it. So when you're planning your trip, I would recommend the journal and a binder to put all the maps in, because when you schedule your next camping trip at the same park, you can go back and say, okay, that site worked, maybe this site will work. One more thing that we do is we take a walk around the campground and we look at sites, and if we like it and we think it's going to fit the trailer and be an easy fit, we go back and write that number down in this book so that we can go back and look. Oh, at Cape Lookout we liked C29 but not C27 for whatever reason. Thanks.
Well, hey, now that Teresa's explained how we go about our planning process, we thought we'd just share with you some of the things that we've got going in 2019. And hey, if there's something on the list that you just happen to be camping there, we'd love to have a cup of coffee with you. So swing on by the campsite. So where are we starting?
Well, next month in March, we are going up to Maryhill, which is right up on the Columbia Gorge up in Washington.
Maryhill, that's a state park in Washington, right?
Correct, yes. And your family's been there several times, but this will be our first time, so we're excited to go. And
Now, fingers crossed that there's no ice in the gorge next month.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
hey, stop bumping the table.
And then,
She's wiggling the camera.
and then in April, no, also in March, we're going down to Devil's Lake State Park in Lincoln City.
Yep, back out to the coast.
For spring break. Then also April, we are going to Tumalo State Park, which I love. It's over in the Bend area. It's small. It's very quiet. Then we're off to Nesquin.
Yeah, let's talk about Tumalo for a sec.
Oh, okay.
So Tumalo State Park is a small state park, and it's right outside of Bend, Oregon. And the last time we were there, it was a January, and coming home was the absolute most stressful trip I think we've ever had.
Well, because we had to go over Mount Hood.
Mount Hood, and everything was ice and snow. So I'm looking forward to going down there in April and seeing if it's any better. You just never know. Either way, we're going.
Yes.
Okay, where are we at? April in
Nesquin. I'm not too familiar where that's at.
So that's a park out here on the Oregon coast again. We like coming out to the coast quite a bit. That is a private park, and there's some friends of ours that have a membership there, so we're joining them for that weekend.
Okay. And then May, we are going up to Kitsap Memorial State Park up in Washington. We're trying out some new parks up in Washington because most of the Oregon ones, we've been here. We've been there a couple times. We love it, but we want to try something different.
Right. And that's Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend, yes. And then June, after school gets out for me, we are headed to Kansas City, Missouri, to see my sister and my brother-in-law. So we are traveling east through Colorado, Nebraska, and then I think we're going to go up to Chicago, and then back down, and then up through the northern states on our way home.
Yeah, that's our big, it's going to take us about a month trip out and then up. We got to catch a Cubs game in Chicago, hopefully a Royals game in Kansas City.
Yes.
And
then we're headed back for the 4th of July up at LL Stubb Stewart. It's towards the coast in Oregon. And then at the end of that trip, we're heading over just to Fort Stevens to meet some friends for a couple days.
And that'll wrap up the big
July.
Our first real big trip. So that one's going to be fun.
Yes. And then in August, we're headed down to Rogue Valley to spend some time with his family camping down there at Valley of the Rogue State Park. So that will be interesting because we've never camped down there other than Seven Feathers. So I think we're going to do a little bit of rafting. That should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it's the jet boats.
Oh, the
right?
jet boats.
Yeah,
That's right. Correct.
Getting on the jet boats down on the Rogue River down in Southern Oregon.
It's usually very hot down there.
Right, especially in August.
And then we're headed to Fort Stevens. We drop off the trailer. Jerry and Rob will be staying. There's 4 of us that are headed back to Portland for the Hood to Coast race, which we do the Portland to Coast walk, which is great. It starts Friday morning and we're usually there by Saturday afternoon. Then we come back, go to sleep for about 12 hours, and then get up, and then we can camp a couple more days.
And by we, she does the walk. I have her drinks ready when we get back to camp.
And you watch the dogs.
Right.
So, and then the end of August, we're going down for Labor Day, beginning of September, to Lapine, which Lapine is also near Bend, and that's one of my favorite campgrounds. It's nice, quiet, very clean. I like.
I love that park.
It's a very good choice. And then we don't have anything scheduled in September as of right now, but in October we're going up to Elk Meadows with some friends of Jerry's.
And that's up in
Washington,
up by
Mount
Stevenson and Cougar, Washington.
Yeah, it's supposed to be just gorgeous up there.
That's what they say. So in October, we shouldn't have bad weather, so we should be looking really good up there.
Yeah, so that's kind of our schedule for the year. I mean, there's always time during the summertime if Jerry and I have a few days, since I don't work during the summer and he's retired, that we could just take off for a couple days and then come back. So, anything?
So that's it. We obviously you can see that we use our happy place a lot. We're out just about every month, and there's some months that we're
going a couple
trips. So Teresa does a wonderful job with the planning of all of this, using her binders and all that stuff, and
apps.
She tries to get me as many pull-through sites as possible, so that we don't have a whole lot of setup. We just pull in and...
Well, we also get together with our friends and family and have a sit down and talk about when we want to go and who's going and who can go that weekend. I think it makes it a lot more fun when there's, a big group of people.
Yeah, we like to camp with a group of people. And we know that it doesn't work with everybody's schedule and stuff, so we don't let that get in our way. We go no matter what. So, it's a lot of fun, and if you have an RV like we have and you're not using it, well, then you're not getting your money's worth, and
you're not having a great time. It's so much fun coming out here.
And this is our happy place, so this is where we like to come and be happy. Yep. So anywhere.
Yeah,
anywhere, anytime. Anyway, we're always happy with that. So, anyway.
We will see you next time.